What's up, guys? Fairly Decent here, and this is my channel, Fairly Decent Gaming. If you enjoy my content, please like the video and subscribe so that you can watch more. If not, then, it's cool. Move on. No feelings hurt here. But this is going to be another movie review. But before I get into that, I kind of want to talk about the gameplay very, very quickly. This gameplay is an example why I absolutely hate playing this game by myself. Now, personally, I do fantastic. I'm playing Kill Confirmed, 6v6. I go 40 and 10, spoiler alert, with 31 confirms, and my team still gets demolished. I had absolutely useless teammates. Can't stand it. Whatever. Let's move on from that. Now, I know I already did a movie review yesterday, but I wanted to make sure I did a movie review of something that was actually coming out this week, because the other two that I did were movies that were actually relatively new and kind of were relevant for the time. I did my last review of Mr. Brooks. If you want to see that, just go into my channel. I have a new playlist I started for movie reviews. Check that out, and check out my other ones if you haven't seen them. I did one for Seven Psychopaths and also Dread, which are both fantastic movies. Go see them. But this one will be my actual first negative movie review, which was very disappointing. I rented the movie Flight for like $4, whatever. I know you can download it for free, but I'd rather just support them somehow and just pay a small dollar amount just to see it once, and I'm content with that. But I went and saw the movie Flight. It has Denzel Washington in it. So usually he's in very good movies. Acting wise, this movie is fantastic. The actors all did a great job. Denzel Washington, the guy that played his lawyer, the guy that ends up playing the chick that he hooks up with, all that type of stuff. The story could have been better, but I don't know. I don't really fault any of the actors in this movie. And the reason why I find this movie very disappointing is that the website Rotten Tomatoes actually gave this movie a 80+% rating on it, which Rotten Tomatoes is usually a very good indicator, or a very good website to go to find out if a movie is going to be entertaining or not. But the critics gave this a very, very good review. Probably just because the acting was good and the story was okay. But the main reason why I have a problem with this movie, it has a lot of play on addiction in it, and it has a lot of play on alcoholism and just things like that. And I don't know, those sorts of things hit home with me just because I have a lot of family members that have fought addiction and alcoholism and those types of issues. But the movie always just seems to, I don't know, it seems to downplay it, or it just made me feel as if you were addicted to something, or alcoholic, or addicted to meth, coke, whatever it is, heroin, that you're hopeless. And I don't know, it's hard to explain. It just made it seem negative, because throughout the movie, as you might not know, the movie is actually about Denzel Washington is a captain of a airline, so he flies jets, and he basically saved hundreds of people because the airplane failed, and he crash landed it in a way, basically flipping it inverted and recorrecting it and landing it. Landing it. So it crashed because the landing gear wouldn't come out, and a few people died instead of everybody. And he tested positive for cocaine and alcohol, and his alcohol blood content was very high. And he basically, the entire movie is based around the fact that he's going to go to trial because he had alcohol and drugs in his system, and they were going to try him for manslaughter for the 6 people that died. Which, sure, if it had malicious intent and or he was fully incapable, or he didn't save people and he just completely crashed the plane and he was the only survivor and whatever, he should be tried for all that. But he saved hundreds of people's lives, and he was still put through all that crap, and the entire movie is basically just based around the fact that he is told to stop drinking while the trial is happening, so that he doesn't have any sort of negative intent towards him or negative press towards him, and he doesn't stop drinking. He says, "Oh, he'll stop drinking." He starts trying to do it, and then he just keeps drinking, and he just makes a fool out of himself. Now, I know there's people out there that are like that, and people that have that issue. It's no joke. So I know exactly how that is for people, because I've seen friends like that. So it's no joke, but I don't know. It just seemed to constantly have a negative spin on it. It's like the movie The Green Zone, where it had a great premise. The story could have been great if it wasn't so just politically driven and just like trying to shove a message down your throat. And this one is just like, don't drink, don't do drugs, don't do all that. Or if you're doing all that, just admit your problem and quit and all that crap. But really, for the people that are going through that type of thing, if they want to quit, they're going to do it. And they need to have the proper motivation to do so. Now, this movie portrays that, so that's good, you know. Eventually, he. Now, this is gonna be a spoiler alert. So if you want to watch the movie even after the review, even after my negative review or whatever, ignore the next like couple minutes, whatever. Don't listen to this. Warning. Don't get mad at me for giving a spoiler. Okay, he eventually. This is me giving the spoiler. Don't. I just need to make sure people don't get mad at this. Eventually, he actually gives up the fact that he did drink before going on to the flight, and he did cocaine to basically straighten himself out so that he didn't, pass out or anything. And he goes to jail for, however many years. I think they say like 5 or 6 years minimum for what he did. And he basically just says that this is the happiest time of his life because he's sober, and he just couldn't stop, or he couldn't keep lying to people about his drinking, and he finally just came clean, even though it gave himself in the bad light because he didn't want to put one of his friends, which his lawyers were trying to frame the whole a whole part of the movie on his friend, on her, and he didn't want to do that and put her name in a negative light when it was actually him that did it. By the way, like how I juke that dragonfire? Yeah, I'm a boss. Anyways, so he finally stopped lying and admitted to his drinking and his drug problem or whatever, and he goes to jail and becomes sober. There's also a slight play on how he doesn't have a connection with his wife or kids because of it, and he ends up having a connection with his child right at the end, and that's right when the movie ends, which, it just doesn't seem like the right end for the way the whole movie happened, and I think that's part of why this whole movie threw me off. The movie just was obviously trying to shove that whole addiction is bad down your throat, and I don't know, I just don't like those types of movies. And if I were to give this movie any rating, it would probably be like a 5 out of 10. It had a good premise, the actors were good, but the whole story and the writing was just too politically biased, or I wouldn't say politically biased, but it had too much of a message being thrown down my throat, and I just don't like being put in that situation. Just the same reason why I don't like religious fanatics or something that are just constantly trying to shove a message down your throat. It's annoying. So that's the main reason why it completely threw me off. I wouldn't recommend this movie, but if you don't mind that type of a message and you still want to check it out, go ahead. It's on Xbox video or whatever that they have for like 400 Microsoft points. If you want to check it out, go for it. and form your own opinion. Let me know what you thought of it. But if it were up to me, I would not recommend it. Hope you enjoyed this. Peace.